One of the special things that started from Shabbos Parshas Noach Tovshin Chav Hei was that's when the Rebbe started teaching the Rashis. On that Shabbos, when the Rebbe spoke, he spoke mainly on Rashi. He spoke on more than one Rashi, and he explained it al pi pshat. And from then on, every Shabbos the Rebbe would explain a Rashi. The Rebbe would have a Chumash on the table. I don't know if the Rebbe asked they should bring the Chumash or on their own they brought it. It was Rebbe Sholem Yisrael Chadakov that would bring the Chumash. And the Rebbe would look into the Chumash and read the Rashi from the Chumash and look into the Rashi from time to time. And every Shabbos there was a Chumash laying there. And the Rebbe would explain the Rashi from that Shabbos on every Shabbos. First, the Rebbe just spoke the first Rashi and other Rashis, but it developed very soon that the Rebbe spoke on the first and the last Rashi of every Parsha. And it seemed like the Rebbe took upon himself that he's going to explain every first and last Rashi of the Parsha, which seems something very special, because by a regular person, unless he has gone through every Rashi and decided that he has what to say, how could a person take upon himself specific Rashis that he's going to speak about it every Shabbos? Maybe you won't have what to say on that Rashi that week. If a person says, I'm going to speak on Rashi every week, so you'll find a Rashi that you know what to say and you'll speak. But to take upon oneself that the whole year he's going to speak on every first and last Rashi would be a Chidush. But by the Rebbe, there's no Chidushim. On everything he had what to say, on every Rashi he was able to explain. So he said that he would explain. He didn't say those words, but we saw that he took upon himself to explain every Parsha, the first and the last Rashi. And it was something very unique. We even wondered, when the Rebbe started this and we saw that he's going to speak on the first and last Rashi of every Parsha, we wondered, what he going to do Parshas Keirach? Parshas Keirach, the first Rashi is very simple. It says, Parsha zu yofa nidreshes b'medresh Sheptan Chumah. That this Parsha is explained nicely in Medresh Sheptan Chumah. What can you say on that Rashi? But when it came to that Shabbos, the Rebbe had to explain, because and everything, he's able to be masber and mavayer and medayik and all the different things. But it all started from Shabbos Parshas Noach. They said that it says in Svarim that learning Rashi is a zgula or has to do with aliyas neshama. I don't know if it's true, but that's what they said, and that's why, since this was the year of Avelis, so after the Rebbe's mother, that's why the Rebbe chose to speak on Rashis. It seems like the Rebbe had in mind only to speak for 1 year on the Rashis, because he spoke the whole year, a little bit also into the next year, Tovshin Chavov, but then the Rebbe stopped. He came to a Farbrengen, one Farbrengen, another Farbrengen, and the Rebbe didn't say a Rashi. Parshas Shmeis Tovshin Chavov, the Rebbe started again explaining a Rashi. Because Mr. Waldman, who was a person who was like a koch stark in the Rebbe's Pirushim and Rashi, was very involved and would write to the Rebbe and he would get answers. So he wrote to the Rebbe asking the Rebbe that it's a very good idea, the Rebbe should continue. And the Rebbe accepted, and the Rebbe continued explaining Rashis later on also. And that's how it went on for many, many, many years. And the Rebbe explained Rashi al pi pshat many times. Most of the times he would also explain Rashi al pi sod, al pi chsidis. And the Rebbe explained that in Rashi you have definitely pshat, because Rashi says that he explains it al pi pshat, and definitely seid satira. The drush and remez, sometimes yes, sometimes not. But the truth is that in the beginning, from Parshas Noach, in the beginning, when he explained Rashi al pi pshat, it was not exactly the same type of pshat and level of pshat as it was later on. And that's why, when these Sichos that the Rebbe was Magia from Parshas Noach through Parshas Vayishlach Tovshin Chav Hei was printed in the Sofes of Likutei Sichos Chelik Hei, there is a Ha'ora Klolis written before that we want to mention that the Derech HaPshat of the Sichos that are printed here from Tovshin Chav Hei are not in the so pashtasdik, so in simple pshat, like the Biurim Rashi of the later years, because we know that even in pshat there are many, many ifanim. And now the Rebbe was Magia, these Sichos from Parshas Noach through Parshas Vayishlach. It seemed that the plan was that the Rebbe would be Magia a whole year, all the Sichos from Tovshin Chav Hei, a whole year he would be Magia. The Pale, for some reason, it didn't work out, and he was Magia only up to the end of Parshas Vayishlach. Now, I don't know if the Rebbe said himself he wants to be Magia, or they asked the Rebbe and the Rebbe agreed, but it looks like that was the plan, that was what the Rebbe is going to do, that he's going to Magia these Sichos for the whole year. The Pale, he was only Magia through Parshas Vayishlach, and it was printed later on, years later, in the Isofis to Chelik Hey.